There's my card.
No.
You never. I need to get them to change it. By the door to the laundry room.
Oh, expires June 1st, 2012. Yeah, you're a little out of date there.
Because I had only been out for like 3 months when this expired. I didn't get out of jail until February of that year, and I didn't move in here until March. It's like March 13th when I moved in here, so I think last year they finally took me off as a sponsor off Witchbox. So, okay, I guess we need to talk about, well, you had,
thing going?
Yeah, I restarted it. You had said that you are M to F. So, do you want to explain, because I know the process. I know what you went through and where you went and what you had done. But for those that don't know what M to F is, could you explain it a little bit?
Okay. M to F is a male who realizes at an early age, we usually know between the age of 3 and 7. I was 5.5, and we realized we have born into the wrong body, and we should have been born as girls. That happened to me back in 1954. And what do you do back in the 50s with stuff like that? You do nothing, because it's like, okay.
You'd be a pariah.
You know, you'd be worse than a pariah. They would give you electric shock. They'd put you away. That's what they did to a lot of people back then. So I knew.
They're still doing that shit now. They call it conversion therapy.
Well, there's 18 states that have banned it already. New Mexico is one of the states that's banned it. Colorado has. A lot of the Rocky Mountain states have banned it. As
Remember,
well as some
we're
of
in
the
the
eastern
Bible
states.
Belt here.
Oh, God help you all. God has helped you all, I mean. But anyway,
right?
I had this big secret all my life, and finally I was diagnosed with cancer in 1999. I was 51 at the time, and I said, well, if I survive this operation, the cancer one, I'm going to go live my life as who I should have really been all along, and that's what I did. I survived, and that's what I did. So I went to Thailand and had surgery there.
Say what the surgery is called for those.
The surgery used to be called gender reassignment surgery. It's now called, let me see.
SRS.
No, it's now called, oh God, what do they call it now? Gender reaffirming surgery, meaning that, okay, now we're reaffirming you into the right gender with this surgery. I had bottom surgery. I didn't have anything else. Hormones, 40C. Hey, I'm happy with that. And that's what I did. I just went over there, had it done, and came back, and been living as a woman ever since, and very happy about it. Times I can't even realize or fathom at times that I used to be a man. It's like, oh yeah, I wasn't I? Type of thing.
Well, for what? I wouldn't even say half your life, because you had been 4 years post-op when I met you, and you were married when you were younger.
I was 2 years post-op when I met you. Two and a half. I met you in 2003.
Yeah.
And I had surgery February 8th, 2001.
Okay. Yeah. God, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
But you were married before, and you had a child with that woman, and then you got married again while you were male, and then you transitioned while you were married.
And that made it a legal marriage of two females. We were like one of the first couples in the United States to be a same-sex marriage, because we were married before I transitioned.
Yeah, you went to Thailand.
And boy, when we had to go for legal stuff, that blew people's minds.
Yeah.
We were refused in Ocala to have our taxes done in H&R Block by somebody who worked there. They had to get somebody else to do it because he couldn't understand how two women could be married, and he just plain refused to do it for us because we were filing our taxes as as a married couple.
Yeah, well, you are a married couple. You were legally married.
And he just freaked out. He couldn't handle it. Now, when we go for our taxes now in New Mexico, my wife and I, we have a woman that does them, Hispanic, probably about 75, and she's really cool with it. It doesn't bother her at all.
I don't see why people should be bothered by it. It's not like you're there to talk about what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah, and they'll claim about the bathroom. You look up on any reliable source there is the people who get attacked in bathrooms are transgender people. We don't attack people in the bathroom. We don't go in there because we want to molest somebody. We want to go in there because we need to use the damn bathroom. Period. That's all. And I've been involved in a lot of civil rights stuff with transgender issues.
And a lot of education.
A lot of education too. Since I moved to New Mexico with my wife, I have been involved with the Transgender Society Speakers Bureau out there, and we go around to
You did that
different
stuff here
places.
too. You did lesbian talks and stuff in Gainesville, and
I used to do a lot of
UF
talks. I did 2 talks at UF, and they were hysterical. And this is where I want my wife to step in and talk a little bit about the guy who said to her, for an old lady, she's pretty hot.
No. You tell the story.
Okay.
Wait, you were probably flattered. You probably were gonna knock him out, weren't you?
No, I was just kind of chuckling because he was like 18 or 19.
You're kidding.
No.
No, this was at the University of Florida during their human sexuality orientation.
Class. And they
Which
one
she spoke at.
1 week they had it on the class for 1 week studied alternative sexual lifestyles. So they knew who I was, and they got a hold of me, and they asked me to come and be a guest lecturer there.
Yeah.
And for 2 semesters in a row, I was voted the best guest lecturer at UF. And it was really funny, because at one point they asked me, well, could you explain how they do the surgery?
Oh no! You told me about how they did the surgery, and I about died.
And I
I was like, wait a minute, they do what?
I started telling them what they do, and
There are different techniques to the surgery, and different doctors do it different ways.
I stopped after like 3 minutes, and I said, girls, look at the nearest guy closest to you. All the guys were sitting with their legs crossed and their hands over their junk like, oh my God, no! And it was hysterical. Then I had another kid. I guess he was like Bible Belt kid, because at that time I was a substitute teacher in Alachua
Hang on,
County.
well, I guess we need to stop there and preface this. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. I grew up with a Christian background. I have been pagan since 1991. For those that don't know, I am under the pagan umbrella. I study Native American and Celtic religions. I have been 9 different religions. I have studied 13. I went through seminary in my early 20s. I do have a theological degree, and I am an ordained minister. I do not have a notary license, so I cannot perform legal marriages. I can still perform marriages, but I'm not legally able to like sign off on a document for it. She, on the other hand, is an ordained minister that had the ability to do legal marriages because she was a notary, and she's been pagan a lot longer than I have.
Not the same. So anyway, I did explain that part, and to get back to this kid that asked me, he was African American. I believe he probably was coming from a very religious African American family where they went to,
Southern Baptist, most likely.
yeah, or whatever their denomination is for Baptist in the South. It's not quite Southern Baptist, but it has a different name. I can't remember it offhand.
And they have like the Church of Christ, and they've got the Living Churches, and they've got
But-
they have a whole bunch of them.
But he asked me, what gives you the right to be a teacher in Florida? And everybody was like waiting for me to come back with an answer. And I just said, well, I'm allowed to teach school in the state of Florida because I have a college degree, and I also am highly qualified social studies teacher in the state of Florida by virtue of passing the state test. That is why I am qualified to teach in the state of Florida. And I would say out of the 500 plus kids in there, probably 520 of them were clapping and applauding
So
my
basically, he
answer.
was saying that because you were trans, you didn't have the right to be a teacher?
Exactly. It's like, how can you teach our children? They'll be contaminated by you type of mentality.
Nah, that's pretty close-minded.
Yeah,
But-
well, Baptists usually are.
Yeah, they are. Especially
I heard a
Southern
joke
Baptist.
one time about Baptists, and it was really funny, and I hope I'm not offending anybody by this joke, but somebody said, you know what the problem is with Baptists? And I said, what? And the person said, they don't hold them under long enough.
Oh, that's true. I've been baptized Baptist. They literally dunk you. They don't even get your face under the water before they bring you back up. Seventh-day Adventists, you have to like pinch your nose and blow air out your ears, and because they hold you down there for a good long while. Mormons do too.
Do they give you a snorkel?
And the funny thing is, when I was baptized into the Mormon church, they put you in like a jumpsuit thing, and the water is cold. They put cold water in the baptistry when they hold you under, and you're there. I think I counted to 15 before they brought me back up. So I was down a while.
The only time I had a jumpsuit on was when I went parachute jumping on my 70th birthday last year.
I still wouldn't mind doing that. I wouldn't mind going back and learning how to fly a plane in today, because I learned how to fly like my Uncle Cessna. I learned how to fly that when I was like 8. And until I think it was 1999 was the first time I was ever actually on an airplane that I didn't know how to fly.
Oh, really?
And I wasn't the one helping fly it.
Hmm.
Because my uncle was a rescue pilot in Juneau in Alaska. So he was also in the Air Force too, but he did work with the Sheriff's Department here in Lake County and did stuff with their flying department, and he taught flight lessons and all that kind of cool stuff, and I learned how to fly when I was a kid, and it was so much fun. I'm still scared to death of planes, but as long as I'm in control of it, I know if anything that happens, like screws up or whatever, it's my fault, not something else.
Well, my wife at the time was asking me, why do you want to jump out of a perfectly safe airplane?
Cause
Because I wanted to do it. I thought it was
I want
cool.
I want a bungee jump too, because I've always wanted to do stuff like that, but I was told by my doctors it would ruin my back.
Yeah, after I had my spinal fusion, my restrictions were no bungee jumping and no lifting free weights and no running. Like jogging.
You used to run, yeah.
Yeah, I was a good runner back 20 years ago. I was one of the top 5 in my
Only time I run
class.
is if I'm like hungry and I'm trying to get in the door of a restaurant that's trying to close or something's chasing me.
I run when it's raining to get inside.
I would stand out. I'd be the one playing in the mud puddle.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. I would do that. You know, what I would like to do today is, if you ever see these things where they have the mud crawls for charity, the mud races.
I would still do one of those, yeah.
I want to do that. I'm just afraid because of my back I could hurt myself even worse. But I really want to try that. That would be cool. Crawling in the mud and getting all dirty and grimy.
Well, they have all those relay things,
Ooh.
but you have to like climb different things, and you have to jump over other things. And my back would be a wreck. Hell, my legs would be a wreck after something like that.
My back would be screwed up after I did that. But here's a story that was really funny. When we went to visit New Mexico the first time we went out there, we were with our boyfriend David, and he's took us to this one place where the highway actually went under the mountain.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And you pulled over to the side, and then you looked, and there was a stream down there. Right where we were looking, the stream kind of like went like this and opened up into a pond. And we were thinking, and this was in December. My surgery was like 5 weeks before that. I didn't bring my back brace that I had to wear at the time because I was told that, don't worry, we're just going to be in the car. So here's David and I crawling down this 50-foot rock incline to see what the pool looked like and how deep it was. And maybe it might be a nice place to visit in the summer for various activities. And my wife was screaming at me,
Get in the car!
and if you two assholes get hurt, it's your own goddamn fault, and that's it. Just leave me with the keys to the car. When we climbed down and we climbed back up, I was fine. The surgery worked, yes!
Right?
It was excellent. But, yeah, do crazy things. I've done zip lining, and after skydiving, I will say this about zip lining. It's like stepping off the curb.
That's it?
Yeah.
I've done zip lining up at Camp Kalakwa, but that you're only going from one tree to the next, and you can see the platforms and stuff. But
Yeah, when you go out the plane at 14,000 feet, all you see is blue, and it's magnificent.
all right, so what would you like? I get a lot of people that say I'm too quiet, or I'm too reserved, or I'm a prude. I am. But
Oh well.
because you've known me so long, and I was a different person in my 20s than I am today, what would you like to tell somebody about me, either how I was, how I was then compared to how I am now? What changes you've seen in me through the various decades?
Since I have known Rebecca, I have known her to be extremely loyal. I also have noticed that if someone crosses her,
You're dead.
yeah, they're basically crossed them off the list, and she
When I'm
She would-
done, I'm done.
she used to be extremely angry person, and I can understand why, with knowing her and having her confide in me her background and things that she wouldn't tell just Joe Blow or
Well,
Susan.
the whole world knows about my sexual abuse as a child now because it's on
Yeah.
YouTube, so I'm not worried about any of that.
But what I know now after seeing her and talking to her throughout the decades, I've noticed that she's gotten calmer, not as angry as she used to be. If I was in a fight, I'd want her to have my back because I know I could count on it. And she knows.
Whoever I was in a fight with would be done.
And she knows that I feel the same way about her. And if we were together and somebody crossed her, they would be dead meat. And if someone crossed me, they'd be dead meat too if we were together. Especially if my wife was with me. Oh my God, I feel sorry for that person. They would be dead meat because my wife was Air Force for 14 and a half years, and she knows how to take really good care of herself in any kind of a thing.
Tongue. That's what I do.
Oh, that's like
Verbally.
me. I would verbally. They would be in tears before you got to them. When I got done with them, they'd be bawling like a baby.
See, what a lot of people don't know about me is that in 65 or 66, I made it to the semifinals of the Golden Gloves and 118 pound, 112 pound weight class. And I'm still very fast with my hands, and I still know how to defend myself very well. I can't kick as good as I used to. I used to be able to kick over
That's my number one skill.
well, your legs are.
I got 100 feet of leg. Yeah, you knock me on my back, you're done.
Oh, I have very short inseams, but I used to be able to kick over my head. And I did kick a knife out of somebody's hand one time, which was pretty cool.
Hang on a second. It was blinking.